Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Not Bland Show, and I'm your host, Dujane Bland. If you were able to see our post, we had to do it pretty quickly here. Richard Gadsden had some stuff to tend to as far as his family. They're a little under the weather, so he had to do daddy duty and wanted to do that. He will be with us next week, the first Tuesday of August, and we'll have the conversation that we were going to have this week, next week. But we still got a great show for you. We're going to talk some IHRA, talk some NHRA Sonoma Nationals, and talk about looks like the points in some of these categories are getting a little shake up, mainly top fuel. And then there's some points that got deducted and pretty much seals the deal for someone for a regular season championship. I've got Dave W. with me, and he will be with me after the break. I want to thank all of our sponsors. Everything Nitro, of course. You want to thank Drag Race Reference, where you can get all your real facts and make sure that you are spitting real facts. And Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. Another week, and your boy here pulled a Lonnie, a Memphis Lonnie, and did not submit anything to any of the leagues. So, completely wet the bed on this one. Although, it's all right because I didn't do a good job anyway. So, I hope you guys did. You guys probably had some difficulties as well, as it's another crazy weekend in Drag Race Bracket Bonanza world. And if you haven't signed up yet, boy, you guys are missing out. But it'll be right for playoff time, so you can get involved and try to at least win the countdown. And if you want to do that, this is how you do it.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Well, that's how you can do it. When I put the ticker up, you should be able to see the code for the league, and you can join the league. I also forgot to mention that we're going to have a fan on that was part of the media there at IHRA and give her perspective. Michaela, Mac1320 is going to be on the show. It'll be our first fan show here on the Not Bland Show. I said I was going to do it, and I thought it'd be a good time to do just that. As she was out there, right there, next to the wall. I'm sure that's a first-time experience for her. I want to hear all about it and hear all the things she got as far as her interviews. Make sure we'll be plugging that her channels a little later, but make sure you go check that stuff out. Man, this is the man that's working hard, the stat guy for Speed Sport, Dave W. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, man? Great to be here. It was an awesome weekend of racing. The weather kind of sucked a little bit on Saturday and made it be another event in a row with an extra day of racing. But you know what? IHRA, props to them, because when they've had these two rainouts, they make the announcement, we're sorry, you got to come back on Sunday. But when you come back, everybody's free.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you hadn't even been there. If you haven't come all weekend, just come on Sunday. It's free. We open it up to the public. Just come on out. We're sorry that it didn't go on schedule, and the people showed out for as hot and sticky and muggy and nasty as it was. The forecast, the rain. So the place was packed on Saturday for first round as it kicked off. The rain delay happened. Nobody left. Everybody went to their cars. They sat in their cars. And when the rain stopped and the track drying commenced, they come back out of their cars and they enjoyed a great show. And unfortunately, it just didn't pan out. Sunday was so hot. Everybody, you didn't really see it too much on the TV stream because they were all on the other side of the track, huddled underneath the only shade, which was the bleachers on the left-hand side of the track has a couple of trees behind them. And that's where everybody was packed in because they wanted to stay out of the sun. But aside from that, it was a great event, and I can't wait to break it all down here with you.
Yeah, it was. There was some really big downtime between the finals, and you're right about that. Me and Dave were kind of talking about that during it, And
Yes.
that's one thing they've got to shore up. If you're not ready, then I guess you don't run. You do the same. They don't do that in the NHRA. So you can't wait that long. I mean, I understand, they wanted to be a little bit different and the racers want to be accommodating, but there's a difference between it being accommodating and then there's like, look, dude, you're going to have to speed this up type of deal because you're holding everybody up and we don't want to do that.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to do that for the fan that sat in the stands all day and waited. And there were a couple of people that did leave throughout that wait period. It was excessive, but there were a couple of racers in each category that was basically having trouble with the turnaround. These guys don't have the well-oiled machines and the NHRA crews that you're used to seeing. I mean, these guys are the independents. They got in some cases volunteer crews that are out here doing this stuff. And when they got troubles, the IHRA looks at it as, yes, they don't want to disappoint their TV audience. They don't want to disappoint their fans that are in the stands. But at the same time, they want these racers to race for it. There was a lot of money on the line.
Yeah.
But there does have to be a point where you just have to go. And I will say, for the ones that waited out the delay and the ones that tuned back in or just saw the recaps of the two Nitro finals on TV, they didn't disappoint.
No.
They had great competition. The cars got down the track. They had some great winners, and just wish it would have happened a little bit closer to the scheduled time that it should have happened.
For sure. We won't keep Michaela waiting too much longer here. We will bring her in. We're going to go to the try box. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you guys?
Doing great. You had a really cool opportunity to be part of the media. What was that experience like coming there for the first time, being out in that space for the first time for you?
It was crazy. I've been trying to find a better word for it than crazy awesome, but I can't. That was my first time having a media pass, and it was just an incredible experience. I was treated like I was a big media person, and I'm still little at this point, so that was really cool to I got the VIP treatment. It was awesome.
What was it like standing down next to the wall? I know I don't get that opportunity. My photographer always is down by the wall. He says it's pretty weird having those cars go by. They kind of push you off of the wall a little bit. What was that experience like for you?
It was insane. The one Nitro pass, I almost fell over. I was like, holy cow. I got to sit in the Mellow Yellow car a couple years ago at Indy, so it was kind of close, but not right up on the wall. And I was blown away. I had rubber all over me. It was awesome.
You got to have some good interviews. Could you tell the fans a little bit about who you got to speak to and some of the information you were able to get from them?
Yeah, so I got to talk to Rachel and Megan Meyer from Randy Meyer Racing, the top alcohol dragster drivers. And so I just did 3 quick little questions, like when did you start racing? What's your race day snack? And then what's your race day pump up song? So I put those out on Instagram the other day. So those are up and posted on Mac 1320. So yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I thought
Thank
that was cool. Very cool. Did you get a chance to roam the pits a little bit?
I did, yeah. The first day, my dad and I walked all throughout the pits and I took a bunch of pictures. I still have to edit and post, but there were so many cars there and so many unique cars there too.
What was the the pit setup like in comparison to an NHRA event?
It was different. They had it wasn't really car by car per se. So there were pro mods here, there were dragsters here. It was kind of all mashed together. There was still the Nitro Alley normal, or I guess NHRA, but it was cool. One thing I did is they had good screens in the pits, so you could see what was happening on the track, even though you couldn't see the track.
That's pretty good. That is a good deal there. That may be something we might see soon at an NHRA national event.
I hope so.
Yeah, as we were able to see on Friday night, all of a sudden we had reporters in the staging lanes.
Yeah.
So somebody's watching. Somebody's watching.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
Um,
you
I
get a
think
chance to even get yourself into the pits. I don't think I ever seen you leave the wall. Most of the time, you were right there, right on the right lane wall, taking pictures, video, just awestruck. I mean, just right there, right in the
oh,
middle of it all.
I was having such a great time. I didn't want to leave the wall.
you were there for the final, both finals. From your vantage point, Sabine, you got to see that all day. Who did you think were going to win, especially in Top Fuel, and who did you want to win?
So I did actually leave before the finals of Nitro. I was both my phones were overheating and I was overheating. So, but otherwise in the day, I should not have stayed on the wall for so long. But I was hoping that Dell would win, so I'm glad he got that. And Top Fuel, I was hoping that Scott Palmer would double up, but still super happy that Lex June got his first win.
Yeah, that was awesome. I think that was the highlight of the weekend. Even Edel was a highlight too, but for Lex, that was a huge highlight. And just to think about what that money is going to do for that team going forward, they'll be that much better when they come out next time because of the fact they're able to build their program a little bit with the dollars that they were able to secure winning that final.
Yeah. So hopefully it'll be good things for that team.
Yeah, I really do hope so. And since we got you on here, we'll ask you some NHRA stuff here. 343 miles per hour. Skipped
That
to
was
42.
insane.
What was it? 304?
304.90.
304, 90
Yeah.
to the eighth mile.
Just
Absolute
insane.
insanity.
Yeah, just the fact that they skipped right over 42 is what's mind-boggling to me. And I think I saw an interview of Brittany earlier. She was like, "I thought they were joking with me on the mic."
Yeah, wasn't a joke. I mean,
Yeah.
I was very much. I had to look at it. Was kind of when we saw 340 the first time. I had to look at it, and I was like, "That's 343." Then it hit
Yeah,
you.
yeah, it's like, holy cow, did that really happen? Oh my God, it did. Like,
Insane, absolutely insane. Elite gets wins. I want to preface this though. If Dallas and Greg don't piss down their leg, they don't get a win here at all. But we got to see an incredible final between Greg and Double A. That's something that's going to stick around in history for a while.
oh yeah. And I loved the emotion that Greg was showing during that interview at the end. Just like so proud that he was in the finals with his son. Like that's got to be such an amazing feeling.
Yeah, definitely. Going into, we're getting what? I think we got about, I stuck my schedule somewhere, and I got it right here in front of me. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Brainerd, and then it's Indy. 2 races left. So, you either got to hope that the top guys go out in the first round to have any sort of a shot to secure any type of, especially in funny car, any type of regular season championship. Looking at the standings, which we hope they're right because they had Joe looking like a clown on his show because they weren't right because Jack lost 20 points, people. He lost 20 points. So we've got Sean Langdon, Tony Stewart's 48 back, Justin Ashley's 111 back, and Doug's 112 back. Out of those 4, we have points and a half in Indy. Who do you got taking home the regular season championship?
I think Tony Stewart's going to get it. It's either going to be him or Sean Langdon, but I think Tony Stewart's going to get it.
I like that pick. By the way, Sean, Tony, Justin, Doug, and Antron have clinched playoff berths. Just so you know. I really like where Brittany is right now, and I'm talking about for playoff time. What are your thoughts on Brittany and her ability to possibly secure a championship here in 2025?
I think she could pull it off. It'll take just getting through more rounds on Sunday. I was at the track, so I wasn't watching
Yeah.
NHRA this weekend, but so I don't know what happened in the first round. I heard that she got off the line good. It was just Sean just won the race, so
it nicked a piston or a valve, and it shut. It was some type of safety system, and it shut the car off. And so he drove around her, but she pretty much made up that gap. It was a good light, but she made that up, and then she was past him, and then it shut off.
Oh, that's painful.
Yeah.
I had her winning this week, so I looked at Bracket Bonanza during the week, and I was like, dang it.
Yep, I did too. It was trash after first round. So,
yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Michaela, for taking the time to come on and sharing your experience. And man, keep putting out the great content. Let everybody know where they can follow you at and catch up on the good stuff that you were able to grab there at the event in Mila Dragway, or I say Drana Dragway.
Right. It's Milan. It's home track. It's going to be Milan for forever. But so you can follow me at Mac_1320 on Instagram and YouTube. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, of course. And we're going to do some of this a little bit more as we go. And I thank you for making the time to come on the Not Bland Show.
Yeah, thanks. See you guys.
Bye. Awesome stuff, man. That's our first fan to come on the show, and I'm really excited for her. I remember my first time being able to go to any type of live event in my first NFL game, because I started just doing NFL, and I tweeted about like drag racing, but I didn't write about it. That's not something we were doing at Sports Journey. But I remember my first opportunity to be in the booth with all the big guys, so to speak, that I've grown up watching and learning from. And I can only imagine what that was for her. And I really hope that's something that propels her into continuing to do that. That's usually how it starts. And with the content and the factual content that she puts out, I really hope this is something that catapults her into doing and really grabbing hold of the media baton.
Oh yeah, 100%. You definitely got to check out her channel and all the historical footage or the historical content that she puts out there. Picks a certain racer and goes through their career and their wins, their career highlights. She's done Shirley Muldowney, Greg Anderson that I've seen. So yeah, really good content and really cool. Like you say, you never forget your first time. And if she'd never been out on the wall before, that is definitely an interesting place to hang out and experience for your first time. And like I said, I don't think that I've seen her leave too much from that wall, because once you're there, you're kind of like, well, that's where I want to be. This is a good vantage point, and you're right in the middle of all the action. So
yeah, it's awesome to see people do that. And I'm going to go through a few things here. We had some great door slammer action, great top alcohol action. Wish there were more funny cars, but there weren't really a whole lot of funny cars anywhere over the last two races. But my guy, Will Smith, man, got the W, got his first national event win, got an Ironman against Rich McPhillips Jr. We all know what they're capable of. It was really cool to see him go the rounds and get the W and get his first win, after all the hard work he's put in.
Oh, yeah, it was. And not only that, I mean, they had a car that could contend with the Meyer cars.
Yes.
And as far as ET and speed, and Will was just killing it on the tree all weekend long. Even his lights in qualifying and eliminations. I mean, he went out there and he performed and he made it happen, and he was ready to go. And he ran in the semifinals against Megan Lingner, and was ready. Man, he had 600s by the time they passed the Christmas tree. So And when you put down a 523, she would have really had to been on it to go ahead and drive back around him there. So the performance was there. Even in the final, the car did. I didn't get to talk to him after the run to find out if it just started to shake the tire or what happened with it, but he did have a quick pedal and saved the run, still got down the track under power, but an 015 light in the money round, he was ready for it.
Oh, he was born and ready. I mean, I was impressed with how he was on his game. Just incredible stuff from him. Very happy to see that he was able to get the W there. I'm going to go back and go to factory stock here. I'm really enjoying the factory stock. We didn't have a complete full field, but the cars that were there were very good. Tyler Deach, I think that's how you say it. Deach.
Yeah.
Tyler and Jaden were in the final. Both, I believe, they're brother and sister. Yeah. So Taylor gets the win. Again, another, just like I said, door slammer cars were just on fire this weekend. Great action, great racing.
Just need to get more of them out there. The Deach family, they bring them all out. They brought the spare car out. They had another driver in it, Rodney Worrell. And unfortunately, Doug Hamp was there. He had the lone GM product, and I don't know what happened. I didn't get the chance to stop by his pit area and see, but that thing was plume and smoke and never returned after that everything happened. So I don't know what happened to him, but whatever it wasn't good. And I just hope that he can rebuild and it's not too expensive of a repair, because that motor is definitely left to chat. Yeah.
And Drag Race Mayhem brings up a great final there between Kurt and Wes. Hell of racing on all, standpoints from the Pro Mod class. That was a hell of a final.
It was. And Wes is the 2024 Pro Mod Milan track champion. They've got a lot of laps down that track. They are there for the heads up Friday night races that they have. So they got a lot of runs down that track, but they're still sorting out that combination. Had a new motor in the car he had mentioned. They're trying to kind of sort the balance out. It weighs a little bit more than the other one did. They were happy with what the car ran, and he was cutting lights like you wouldn't believe. A perfect light. Of course, so the funny thing about AccuTime now is they display everything to the 10,000s. NHRA you used to see in 3 digits, AccuTime gives you 4. He had a 0008 perfect light, but it's not 40 perfect, although one of the sportsman racers did have a 40 perfect reaction time in eliminations. But it's just amazing that, you can get up on the wheel, cut a light, and you can make a difference in that class. And we saw a lot of upsets. I mean, number 1 and 2 qualifiers out first round was beyond amazing. I mean, and unfortunately for the number 1 and 2 qualifiers who thought they were going to go rounds, I mean, the upsets are what make it entertaining, make it interesting. And the guys that you think are just going to run through the field, when they're out early and you've got some of these lower qualifiers advancing rounds, it makes it a good show for the fans, because you really don't know who's going to win this race by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah. That's one thing that I do love. It really is it's anybody's race. Anybody who shows up can win. And that made for just, it turned the whole thing upside down on its head. And I love the Pro Mod class. Really, really good stuff there. Only had a few cars.
We only had 24 that showed up, but it is a 32 car field. That is what IHRA has announced that it is supposed to be at all their events. So look for more to keep showing up. And if you're a Pro Mod fan, come on back next weekend, because they're having the $125,000 to win Pro Mod race has been moved to Milan, Michigan. And coming off of PDRA and Martin this weekend, I feel like a lot of guys are coming right on back, and they are going to toss their hat in the ring for a chance at that $125,000.
May as well. They've already gotten several passes down the racetrack, so you should be able to go out there and get it tuned up pretty quickly. So you might as well go out there and give it a shot.
Right. Hey, what do you got? And this just weekend is an example of if you can go out there and cut a light and get down the track and have a safe tune-up, you can go rounds. And I hope it shows everybody, not to discourage anybody, because you can go out there and the driver can make the difference, and you can see upsets. Nobody, it's kind of like, everybody, when Kai Kelly turned the Pro Mod era on its on its head back at the Snowbirds at the end of 2024 with that steel-bodied Camaro coming out there and beating up on all those purpose-built Pro Mod cars.
Yeah.
And Kai was there running this weekend. I don't know if he'll be back next week. I think he will be. I think he said he's coming on back. So, all the hitters are coming out there, and that's what is awesome to see. And I will say, not to take anything away from the NHRA Pro Mod racers and what they do, because they are still, I believe, one of the last, if not the last, quarter-mile Pro Mod racing where you get to see the quick ETs and big speeds. But you know what? The diversity of cars that you see on the IHRA side of things, it's not just a 69 Camaro or a 2028 Camaro or a 2025 Camaro. You don't just see the new stuff and the old stuff. You see all kind of stuff. You had the old 442, 1980s Camaro, 57 Chevy. You had Larry Larson was out there with his Nova.
Yeah, that was cool.
The 63 Corvettes, that was kind of like the rage back in the day. There's still some of them out there, but just the diversity in body styles. Disco Dean, how about that 78 Trans Am?
I love that thing.
With the T-tops painted on the roof. Another steel-bodied car, too, might I add. It's just really interesting. There's a lot of good stories, a lot of interesting characters. Frankie Madman Taylor's out there. He's always interesting. And they just put on a great show.
Yeah. Was that a Pro Nitrous car or a Pro Mod car? That was the Oldsmobile.
The Oldsmobile's in Pro Mod.
That's what I thought. That's a cool looking car. And let them tell it in NHRA drivers that it's not aerodynamic. It couldn't do anything with it.
Oh, well, and maybe it doesn't matter as much because they're only going 1/8 mile. So the aero doesn't really come into effect that last 660 feet. So I like
the 1/8 mile racing.
As far as this particular question, I mean, they don't have Pro Boost in IHRA at all. Pro Nitrous, I don't know that they are looking to combine it. I think that the rules are different, and that's why the people want the Pro Nitrous category. They're similar in the way that they run the ETs, but I'm assuming you'd probably need some kind of a weight break or something to make them competitive, because low ET and Pro Nitrous would have probably put you midfield in Pro Mod and doesn't really give you much of a chance to win. So
yeah, I don't know, man. I think people like PDRA and they like racing there, but man, I mean, I don't know what the payouts are over there, but.
Well, that is the hard part. Yeah, for PDRA, I don't know that they would necessarily be in trouble, but there are a lot of people that are looking at making this the one place to race, especially even in the Mountain Motor Pro Stock contingent, which is spread across 3 series as well. But again, NHRA, if you like the quarter-mile racing, then, I mean, that's the place to see it, because that's really the only place left that does see it. And I love quarter-mile racing. I love seeing the low ETs and the big mile an hours just as much as anybody else. But after these last couple races, I'll tell you what, the 1/8 mile stuff is really starting to grow on me. And it's just the competitive nature, the closeness. I mean, the whole shot wins, side-by-side racing, and it's all right there in front of you. I mean, it's really growing on me. I really enjoy and appreciate it now more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I've experienced most of the Pro Mod racing that I've seen live has been 1/8 mile. I just enjoy it. It is a driver's race a lot of the time, and I mean from start to finish. Especially when we talk about Pro Mods. I mean, there's a couple times I'm like, this guy is not going to stay in it, is he? You're like, yes, he is.
Well, there were a couple of them that I mean, and that was the other thing too, with a couple of them that got close to crossing the center line, and unfortunately, Dave Adkins, who did have contact with the wall, got over by the center line, and then caught the wall with that beautiful '63 Corvette. Hated to see that for him.
Me too.
The all over the track driving. The parachute that popped out, one of the 2 parachutes out, and the gentleman losing on a hole shot to Randy Adler, the bottom of the field qualifier. It kind of brought back like man, this is where Pro Mod came from. This is what it was all about. Cars, big smoky burnouts, cars going from center line to guardrail, trying to get it down the track, get it to the finish line, the unique body styles. It was like the days of old, really.
It really was. It really was. I'm enjoying how they're putting all that together. Mountain Motor Pro Stock is another one that I'm just like, I'm really loving this Mountain Motor Pro Stock more than I like the 500 cubic inch Pro Stock at this moment. That was some great racing this weekend. Chris Powers gets the win over Dylan Voss. Again, two guys cut some really amazing lights, both 417s. I'm like, good thing we got a timing system and some beam that they can break, because there's, with the naked eye, you couldn't really tell who actually got that win. That was really cool to see both cars run identical numbers, at least to the third digit. But really cool stuff from.
And kudos to Chris. I was talking with the gentleman that runs the Real Pro Stock Facebook page. If you've not subscribed or followed that page, you really should. They've got great content about the mountain motor class. He said that Chris becomes the first to win in all three sanctioning bodies in the same season. He's got a PDRA win, he's got an NHRA win, and now he's won an IHRA. So he's won them all.
That's
which is a pretty cool stat for Chris.
Yeah, that is.
With the best looking race car out there. I'm sorry to everybody else that brings a car out there. And if you don't see that car in person, you don't realize how much the colors on it really pop. And it has working headlights and taillights. When he said nobody said that anybody could do that, you'd never be able to make it work. You got to just put stickers on there. He's like, well, I got them.
Yep, I like it. I like it, man. That was absolutely cool. Was that Dan Hicks who had the really cool looking funny car? Yes, it was Dan Hicks.
Dan Hicks, yeah.
That was another good looking car.
Yes,
funny car. Del Worsham getting.
I believe he painted that car as well.
It looks
Dan
good.
did.
It looks really good, really good. Del getting a win, man. I think since 1992 in funny car.
In 92 funny car, yeah. Leicester, New York, the Empire Nationals in 1992.
And it was he raced in Top Fuel and won, and that was like 95, right?
He won the World Nationals in Norwalk in 95 over Doug Herbert. If you want to go back and watch it, they're all on YouTube. You can check them out. That was a pretty wild final round. Doug Herbert ended up on three wheels at the finish line. Pretty epic. And in that particular final round, that was an ex-Joe Amato car. You can tell by the Valvoline paint scheme and back in his Texas Stagecoach days for Del. But yeah, that was great to see him come out there, put a crew together, go out and support this series. Back-to-back finals, picks up the win, picks up the check. He was ecstatic. He was absolutely loving it.
That was awesome. It was awesome to see. He wanted that one, and I'm glad Mike McIntyre won for sure. But it was nice to see Del get some redemption here. And he's been in the final twice now in funny car and IHRA. I'm looking forward to next week. I hope we have some more cars out there in the next race. In funny car. And I just, Drag Race Mayhem, I just think right now, for whatever reason, we saw the same thing in NHRA. There were hardly any, I think there was 14 top alcohol dragsters, but like 5, or was it 4? Might even be less than that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's a lot of guys who I'm surprised didn't turn around and come back, but they already had commitments. I know Ray Drew ran at Columbus. He was committed to run the funny car chaos race in Byron that got canceled at the last minute. But a lot of guys that run the alcohol category were over there in that series with that, and then that got postponed. So we'll see by the time we get back to Columbus. The weekend after the U.S. Nationals is the next time we'll see those guys on tour, because next week is just Pro Mod, Pro Stock, and Top Sportsman Show and bracket cars to fill in between. But I think this is the September show, the return to Columbus after Indy. You'll probably see a lot more cars and some full fields again.
Yeah. And this is the first time, like you said, a lot of people had other commitments when all this came about. So,
a lot of them in general, just from what I've heard, the general consensus in the pits are it all came back together so late in the year that most of these teams and guys are these guys go to work during the week. You know, they've got regular jobs and they already had their vacations all planned around certain races they were going to go to. And then this got thrown into the mix. So hopefully we'll see how the year plays out. It might get a little bit better at the end of the year, but look for next year to be considerably better.
Yeah. And really happy for Lex and that team over there getting the win. Mitch King in the final as well. Yeah, that was really cool to see them get the win. Really had a pretty decent car all day. I think as they get more laps, being like we talked about, being in the IHRA and being able to get more laps, I think they'll get better and better, and we'll see cars in the field get better and better as they get more laps down.
I mean, that final round, it could have went either way, and you hate to see somebody lose because either one of those guys winning is just huge for no matter who crosses that stripe first. But I did talk to Lex in Winner's Circle, and he had mentioned they had a blower belt come apart in the first round. It damaged a coil wire, and they didn't realize it because the car still started and warmed up in the pits. When they came up for the second round against Scott Palmer, which if you watch the qualifying show, they had a little bit of a back and forth about potentially, you know, getting hung out on the starting line. They had a couple words back and forth, and Scott goes out there, starts up first, does his burnout, and Lex was kind of hanging back in the burnout box, and nobody really like, well, what's going on? Well, what they found out was, even though it started okay in the pits, when they fired it up to run second round, they had no RPM on the dash. The dash wasn't reading. There was nothing there. I mean, the motor was obviously running, but they had no data to really go off of. Kind of just set idle by sound. Went up there, made the run, got through the round, got back to the pits, and discovered that the coil wire had completely severed, and it was only running on one mag with no RPM output. So they had a bunch of repair to do in between rounds to get it ready for the finals. And he said, man, it went out there in the finals, and you see when it finally was running on two mags under full power, 396 right down the track, right in only the second run into threes all weekend, got to the finish line and did have a pop. It did blow the burst panels out of it just before the finish line, but it made it under power. He's like, I legged it through there, but we had no idea what to do for a tune-up because we had no data. We had no RPM.
That's crazy.
We didn't have anything to tune off of because the coil wire, luckily for them, it stayed running long enough to even get down the track. So
that's crazy.
It was just one of those things that, you know, and Lex said himself, divine intervention, because everything that could have went wrong did go wrong, and it just all came together in that last round, and they got the win. Like,
yeah, I don't think we'll know what their crown jewel is until next year. Once that schedule is released for next year, I don't think we'll know what that is just yet.
I mean, it could be Columbus. Columbus is really the probably the nicest laid out and newest timing tower and wraparound tower. Although I have heard from a couple of people, the rumors are that at Milan in the off season, you can kiss these two towers goodbye that have been there for forever, and a new timing tower is being built, and they might even back the track up a little bit to give them a little more space there as well. Move the starting line back. Might even have a wraparound tower behind the starting line. But they're going to be doing a lot of improvements to these tracks that they own. And it's going to be great for these facilities going forward. What's their crown jewel going to be? Hard to say yet. It's going to be interesting to see what the schedule plays out next year. Are you going to go from 5 races to 10? Are you going to keep the same 5 tracks and just go to each track twice? Are you going to acquire more tracks? That's all remains to be seen, but as of right now, they're all crown jewels. They're the way that these people enjoy winning and getting these Ironmans. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for sure. It's really cool to see all of that coming back, and it's good to see and hear the support from people who just schedules don't allow them to be there this time around. I believe there will be a lot more folks. I think a lot of people have been sitting back and seeing how this is going to materialize, and now that they're seeing it and hearing what other racers are talking about after coming here, I think you're going to really see an influx next year, and you won't have these, too many of these fields that are not full next year for sure.
No, not at all. And I think that again, just at the end of the day, just a huge shout out to the fans at Milan, because they got their first national event since 2008, and they showed out. And even the drivers were commenting, not that the Columbus, I mean, obviously is the first go around at Columbus, you had weather issues, but the drivers were like, man, it's really cool to do this in front of the crowd that they had, because they had both sides bleachers, had a lot of people in it. And like I say, the left side stands you couldn't see because the TV was on that side. Sometimes you might be able to catch it from a drone shot, but they had them on both sides, and there was people in the pits all weekend long. Just we kind of get deceived on NHRA side of things too. And they're always talking about, look at the bleachers. But there's plenty of people that go to NHRA races that hardly ever leave the pits, or they just go from the pits to the fence line and back to the pits and don't even sit in the seats. So you can't really gauge the event's success by what you see necessarily in the stands, because there was a lot of people there. And props to you guys for coming out and braving the weather, because it was either muggy and unbearably hot or raining.
Yeah. That they've been through it the last couple of races. And they've managed it quite well, in my opinion, for first time around, and just getting back in the swing of things. I really like how they managed things. I liked how they managed things during downtime, the announcing crew, how they used the time and used the ladies in the pits to gather stories and to kind of keep the audience engaged as best as they could through the minimal downtime that they had. So I'm really looking forward to this next race coming up, and man, it's been fun to have them on board and back.
Before we switch gears, one last note: Killer Brooks winning top sportsman with an 030 light in the final, running right on the dial.
Yeah,
Predator Cavalier that basically pioneered pro modified in the top sportsman categories when it turned into the Quick 8 series, and then finally the first year of pro mod. He was runner-up at the World Nationals in 1990, the debut of the class, and he won in Ontario, Canada in 1992. It was his lone national event win in a pro mod car, and to come back and get his second Ironman all these years later, 33 years after the fact. Who would ever thought he'd be in the same car and still out there competing and getting another Ironman in the check? And that was a cool story. And congratulations again to Killer Brooks, one of the legends out there still winning races.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was so awesome. All of it was great this weekend, and I'm looking forward to it, the next race. Well, Sonoma, it didn't disappoint, I don't think. You had Doug winning. Austin Prock it really looked like they were going to do another okey doke again this weekend and be out in the first round, because they just couldn't seem to find their footing. Somehow they found it right at the most opportune time and get that W. Greg Stanfield, kudos to Elite for not beating themselves. I will say that.
I was absolutely shocked when I got a text about a question about the father and son final. When's the last time it happened? And I'm like, really? They made it to the finals? Because believe me, I had them going rounds. I did too. I had the exact opposite final round of how it played out. Yeah. And after seeing the video after the fact, man, that left lane, those guys went in there with lane choice, if I'm not mistaken, and they got bit by that lane. I don't know what was going on with that, but man, that was costly. Both of them getting out of the groove. And how about that, though? That's a great story, getting father and son in the final in pro stock. By my unofficial count, I believe it's only the second time that it's ever happened, other than Warren and Kurt, from what I was doing some quick research in the tower there at Milan. And that happened 13 times, and Warren won 10 of them. So I think the father's got the advantage here, especially considering Greg and Aaron are out there, and Greg picks up that win. So maybe there is something to be said for age and experience out there.
Yeah, and Greg gets his first win since beating Kurt Johnson.
2011 World Finals.
So wild.
How about that?
Wild.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He did take some considerable time off in that period and was racing other categories and became a factory stock factory X champion in between, while Aaron was becoming factory stock champion. And but it's cool to see them both competing against each other at the upper level of door car excellence in NHRA, because, coming through Factory X, Factory Stock, but Pro Stock is where it's at, and they were there in the final, and it's a good story all the way around, and congratulations to both of them.
Yeah, it is a good story. And, Richard Gadsden, I was really kind of taken back during the finals, because it's not just him that suffers this. It seems like all of the bikes that have been running towards the top here as of late, they look really good, and they're outrunning the field in qualifying, and then it comes race day, and you're like, what happened? The conditions didn't change much this weekend, and you're like, what happened? But they were able to figure it out. He was on his game this weekend riding that bike. It's been I think a focal point for him to make sure that he is on his game. And he said it, if they give me a horse, he knows he can win. And they gave him a horse at the end, and that was huge, man. That was huge for him. Like I said, once he got the first one, I knew the others are going to be a lot easier to come. And he's got another one. Should have had 3 by now. This should be third, but
you know what though? Like we talked about before, that is just, once you know you can do it, it is such a confidence builder that it takes that edge off. And now he knows he can go out there, and now they're looking at him. Now they're looking at, man, I'm gonna red light against that guy, or I got to be on my game against that guy. And to come out there and get his second win, like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got 5 by the time the year's over with. I mean, once the ball's rolling, don't really know what's going on with Gage and Matt. They're not really, those two we figured they're just going to continue on their dominance. And John Hall, back-to-back finals, Richard Gadsden, second win of the year. I mean, is the guard changing a little bit? Or,
no,
like you said, these guys falling off. Is that just another example of how tough it is in this category and how on edge they are, that you just miss the setup by a little bit and you're in trouble?
Yep. I'm going to tell you what Matt Smith's problem is. Matt Smith need to worry about just running his own race, all that fanfare, all that cockiness, and trying to get in somebody's head. When you start consistently busting people down and you consistently get your butt to the final and win, then you can start all that vibrato. Right now, he just need to be focused on running his lane and looking down his lane so you don't get left on when you got the best bike on the property.
Well,
I said it, Matt.
But he didn't. And I mean, he just got outran.
He got outran this weekend for sure.
In this weekend, yeah. I mean, he don't get me wrong. You go back one round before, he knew he was in tough against Gianna, and he comes out with an 017 light and puts her on the trailer. She went quicker, so he won it on a whole shot.
Yeah.
The bike field, again, it's a shame. I understand the whole West Coast thing, and it's expensive to go out there. Sonoma's always been one of their biggest races, but it's a shame to only have 12 bikes show up because you got a short field. Yeah. It really messes with the ladder and gives you matchups early on in eliminations that you wouldn't normally have. I mean, it just makes me wonder what happened there. I mean, John Hall's got a good bike. He had a good bike all weekend, but everybody just really slowed down as the day went on. And again, same thing in Pro Stock. That left lane was a little bit tricky for those guys, and the motorcycles went right down it, and that's where the two they picked that lane as well and ended up with the wins.
Yeah. You're clinched here in Pro Stock Motorcycle is Gage Herrera, Richard Gadsden, who is in second, 70 points back from his teammate. Matt Smith, 122 points back out of first and third. John Hall has clinched. He's 321 points out of first. And Angie Smith has clinched. 349 back. 6 through 10 still up for grabs. And the top 10 actually matters here.
Right. And to my understanding, are the bikes coming to Brainerd this year?
I don't think so. No bikes at Brainerd.
So they've only got one. They've only got Indy left.
Yes, only Indy. Yep. No bikes at Brainerd.
Yeah,
they're going straight to Indy.
Because there's only 100 and They get one extra session at Indy, so probably about 194 points available with the points and a half and 5 qualifying sessions, barring any of them get canceled or rained out, and getting 4 riders getting points in qualifying with the points and a half races. So the big question mark going into the United States Nationals is going to be, does Braden Davis come out on the rental bike and point his way into the top 10 and run for this championship? Because it is doable.
I think he's got to. I mean, if he does, he's got the best bike. The rental bike is the best bike out of the 3. I mean, it's been proven. If I'm him, I find a way, because I think if you do that, you can win a championship for sure.
Right.
Does Richard Gatson catch Gage to win the regular season title?
No.
I'm with you on that.
I got to say no, because
they're likely going to be in the final every time.
There's 5 sessions, all right, and so depending on how Gage runs, Richard could potentially, between session points and qualifying points, get it to 59.
Right.
And get within 2 rounds. But I mean, how many times is Gage going to go out first, second round?
Exactly.
Especially with U.S. Nationals.
Exactly.
Because he's only got to go to the semis and it's game over right then
Yep.
and there, even if Richard wins the race. So
Yep.
I think that it's going to be a tall task. I think Gage Herrera, you could pretty much pencil in as your regular season champion in Pro Stock Motorcycle.
Pro Stock, you only have 2 clinched. Dallas, Greg. This is a 2-horse race for the regular season championship. Greg Anderson is 37 points back from Dallas. Glenn, who you got winning this regular season championship now that we've seen the Sonoma Nationals?
I'm still going with it's going to be a winner-take-all final at Indy. I still think that they're going to be the 2 best cars. They're going to stay within a round of each other at Brainerd, and they're going to go into Indy probably just about heads up, and it's going to be whoever outlasts the other one's going to win that championship. In my opinion, it's going to be the best championship battle in all of the categories, potentially, depending on what happens in Sonoma and how Top Fuel plays out, because you do have a close battle there. I mean, Tony Stewart's not that far behind Sean Langdon, but those are the 2 to watch when it comes to the regular season championship.
For sure.
And in this one, I don't think it really matters. We're not looking at top 10 here because Kenny Dalco missed a race.
Yep.
I don't know if Val Smealan subbing for him counted as one of the I'm taking your place races, but I think you're looking at a 14-car field in Pro Stock.
All the way to Chris McGahey.
Yeah, in 14. I believe that's what I think that it would fall under. I don't know if Val held Kenny's place. If so, you might get a 15-car field, but probably 14.
So, we already know that pencil it in, Austin Prock is your regular season champion. He has already clinched that. He has also clinched the only playoff spot.
He hasn't clinched a regular season championship yet, but he will.
Not yet, but he will. I'm saying it. I'm calling it early. He is the only one that has clinched a playoff berth. Everybody else is still looking to clinch one. This also is a field that will have at least 13 cars. Buddy is likely not to be in Brainerd.
There's
Hunter Green. Oh, I forget Hunter. Well, no. I don't know how that's working.
No, because Hunter and Blake split the cars, so they don't split the.
Right.
They weren't earning points for each other, so no. It's going to be 13 if Buddy doesn't make Brainerd. Which, what can you say for that guy, man? I feel so bad for him after all that's happened, and then come out there and just absolutely destroy that car. It was their last body, tore up the chassis. Close call with the safety safari. Man, I'm glad they got that truck out of the way. Went into the net, hit it so hard it ripped the net down. The first net. Man, banged up his hands.
Yeah.
Just feels so bad for him for what he's gone through the last couple of races here. Probably the last, Bristol, Seattle, and now here.
Yeah, bad. And I'm looking at the safety safari truck, and I'm like, is the dude driving paying attention? Get your out the way. Like, you're going to make this matter worse. And number 2, we have got to figure out a better way to get these bodies, to keep these bodies on the cars if you're concerned about fans. I think your move is to keep everybody from 1,000 foot back. nobody beyond 1,000 feet next to the fence at all. They need to stop putting stands that far down. You got to do something, because this is another time where a guy is trying to get the car stopped. He can't because the body won't allow him to do so.
And I'm curious, did they mention or happen to say why the parachutes didn't come out? Because that was a big topic of conversation after the John Forrest explosion. Yeah. And they said they figured out, it's the way we had these cables routed, and they get pinched a certain way and they don't deploy like they should. The lever gets jammed, so we rerouted the cables, but that's scary because that's happened now, and no parachutes. Yep. And I don't think Wilkerson's came out either.
Nope.
Neither of them had parachutes come out, so they got something going on.
Something with the body and how it blows, and it's preventing them to come out.
We've got an RF transmitter where these crew chiefs can shut these motors off. Why can't we put an RF transmitter where they can set them parachutes out for these guys?
I like that
RF
idea.
trigger for the parachutes, because if I see my car blow up, I'm hitting that button and I'm killing everything and launching the chutes.
Yep, immediately.
And there's got to be a way to wire that into the system.
Got to. They've got to figure it out. But there's no true top 10 here in Funny Car. And Top Fuel, man, this is going to be a good one, as we spoke about with Mac 1320. Look, Sean's in the lead. Tony's behind him with 48. Justin Ashley and I think Doug are pretty much a long shot. But it's not impossible, because we've seen Tony now go out in the first round. We've seen Sean go out early as well. And Justin and Doug are really making a push to the end, at least to start this upward trend for playoff time, at the very least.
Do we have an entry list for Brainerd yet?
Let me look. I will check that out.
Because that's really going to be the deciding factor, is how many cars show up and what's that ladder going to look like.
Let's see here. Your entry list for Brainerd. And we're talking about Top Fuel here. And this is going to be interesting. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You have 10, because Sean Reed will not be there. Okay, so you have Antron Brown, Doug Coletta, Justin Ashley, Sean, Brittany, Tony, Ida, Clay, Josh, and Will Smith will be there.
Right, Will's coming to Brainerd, yeah.
That's it.
So you're basically going to have your same ladder that you had in Sonoma, if you're going to have a 10-car ladder, unless Sean gets a substitute driver and puts his car out on track and tows up there and has an 11th car. That's going to be interesting. And in all honesty, who would have thought that out of all 4 qualifying sessions, Sean Langdon would have ended up at the bottom of the ladder and raced Brittany Force first round?
Exactly.
However, if you only got 10, not that it's really easy to do until you know how everything plays out, but you might play the ladder game in Top Fuel. You might play that game, because if you're Justin Ashley and Doug Coletta and you get Sean Langdon and Tony Stewart out early at Brainerd, and you can knock another 60 to 80 points off going into Indy when it's points and a half, yeah you got a shot at this.
You got a shot.
That's not over by a long shot. Antron Brown, I'm going to call him done. I'll put the do or done line, as Mike used to have, right under Doug, going into Brainerd. And this is you better do something, because that's going to go up to the top 2 after Brainerd. And it's going to be very interesting to see if Sean Reed is not out there and doesn't have a replacement driver that can earn points on his behalf, can Ida point her way into the top 10?
Yeah, that is a good question. We'll see.
She's going to start. I mean, if she's showing up at both, she's going to qualify for there and likely the U.S. Nationals. So there's 40, 60 points right there that you're putting to her total, cutting into that. So she's going to be at 330. She's going to be within 90 points, which go around her 2 at Brainerd, you go around her 2 at Indy, you got a chance.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun in Top Fuel to see that go to through Indy there. 15 cars. It was a 16-car field. Nobody will be 15 cars in Top Fuel. We have in Funny Car, we have our normal group of people in Pro Stock, so that doesn't change. That's all you have in the pro categories. I did not look at any of the other classes, but that's what you got there when it comes to the car count. Will be interesting to see what happens in Brainerd. I don't know, man. It's
you get the weather right, man. That 343 might not be safe.
It might not be safe.
Got a beautiful surface, and they have set records there. If we get a cold front that comes through, man, that'd be awesome. Look out.
It'd be insane. It is remarkable to see what David Grubnick has done. But what's interesting is on that run, she had to drive that car a little bit and thought about lifting because she thought it was going into tire shake. And she stayed in it.
Yeah.
Let that sink in.
I think it was making moves early. And you know what? Maybe that's why the ET was down a little bit. It probably would have went 362 at 339, yeah. But instead she gave herself a couple extra hundredths of racetrack and built that speed up to 343 at only a 364.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. That was awesome.
Still just an amazing run, man. That is the run of the year so far.
So far.
In the short, we still got the fall to go. We still got the good weather coming.
Well, Dave, thanks for taking the time to hang out with us and talk a little IHRA and a little NHRA and coming in, batting sub here for Richard Gatson. I really appreciate it, brother.
Oh, always a pleasure. You know me, I love talking the drags no matter what it is. So
yes, sir.
I'm happy to help.
All right, brother. I will talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Take care,
guys. I'm going to close this show real quick with this. I want to talk one NFL topic here. And look, wide receiver Terry McLaurin is looking for a new deal. Everybody knows that. I did put out a short on it, and I think folks are kind of missing the point on the short, which I'm okay with people disagreeing. And, I understand where some people are coming from, but I want to hit home 2 points here. One, the team put him on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list, if you are not familiar with NFL terms, because they were trying to prevent him from paying more fines. Because he had to pay those fines that he accrued for not being at the first couple of days of camp. The team did him a solid. And they didn't have to do that. They could have let him sit out there during these contract negotiations and pay those fines and accrue those fines and have to pay it. So he comes into camp and decides to be a hold-in after they do him a solid and put him on the PUP list. And then your first day back, as you're signing autographs, you're telling the fans that your beef is not with them. There shouldn't be any beef at all, being that the team could have let your butt ride and pay fines. So I have a problem with that. And I thought the talking in the beginning, expressing this frustration, I understand the gamesmanship and trying to negotiate contracts. But this is a new Washington Commanders / Redskins organization. A lot of leaks in the past. There are no leaky faucets anymore at Commanders Park. Everything is kept in-house. And I'll let you slide with the frustration. I won't let you slide with hot mics around fans and talking about your beef is not with them. And then you're still kind of running your mouth after the fact. I've also gotten flack for agents and talking about his agent being there. Look, man, I don't play with me. I've been around enough agents, especially Drew Rosenhaus. Yes, he is there for his people. I've seen him for those he has represented that were already in the NFL, those he was representing as they were in the Senior Bowl deal. He's not on the field. He doesn't walk on the field ever. And he's very incognito. He's very incognito. So for Terry's agent to be standing out there and having conversations with him after practice on on the field after practice is a little much. And I don't know whether it's posturing or what, but it's not a good look. And to be quite honest with you, I think Terry has an agent that's in over his head. My guy over there at the Rambling with Rio talking Commanders football there over at his YouTube channel, Rio Robinson, made a good point. And the point he made is that Terry pretty much is the biggest contract that he has on his roster. Everybody else that he has on his contract roster that he has and he represents is $3 million or less contracts. And most of them you don't even know outside of Jeremy Chin. The rest of them you wouldn't know. You couldn't find them in the daytime with a flashlight. So I think this guy's in over his head. And I don't like this posturing, and I don't like this snit tit for tat that Terry is doing. It's just not a good look. And you can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree, and that's fine. But I don't like it. Not with the way that this locker room is, because, yes, they are paying attention. Players are paying attention. But I guarantee you they're not paying attention for the reasons you think they are. Because Terry's supposed to be the leader. One of the leaders. And how he's going about his business right now, to me, like I said in the post, it's a little diva-ish. I will tell you this, though, to close this out. I do think Terry gets a contract. The Cortland Sutton contract, if you're familiar with that, he got a 4-year deal, $92 million, and $41 million guaranteed. That puts him at about $23 million a year. I think Terry gets that same contract, but they'll give him a 3-year deal because that'll put him at about $30 million a year. And the word on the street is they're looking for 3s as the first number. He will get a 3-year deal. I think because of the guaranteed money Sutton got, I think that sets the bar where the Commanders have a lot of leverage here. That contract going through, and I think Adam Peters, knowing the Broncos organization, has worked there along with the 49ers, kind of, knows Cortland Sutton. They had to have a clue of what was going on, and that contract was going to come to fruition and drop. And now that it has dropped, it kind of undercuts Terry and his wanting DK Metcalf money or more. So I think it's $92 million, 3 years, and I think they do him a solid and they give him $60 million to $65 million guaranteed. That should get it done. I think that's fair because really with the $41 million that Sutton got, they're pretty equal there, pretty equal in age as well. They really don't have to give him that much. They could really get away with saying, hey, we'll give you $51 million guaranteed. We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. I just don't like the way things go and are going. I'm all about players getting their money, but there's a way to go about it. Ladies and gentlemen, really appreciate you guys commenting, watching. Those of you who are in the background watching and not commenting, I really appreciate you guys. Without you guys, this show isn't what it should be or could be. I want to thank Mac1320 for coming on the show and sharing her experience. Thank you for being the first fan to be on the show, and we'll do this a little bit more. We've got some educated people here that watch this show, and we'll come up with something else that we can maybe plug one of you guys in and get your thoughts on certain matters in regards to drag racing as we get closer to playoff season. Check out the articles that we are producing on sportsjourney.com. I want to thank our affiliate VTR, VTNR. I think I'm saying that right. Virginia Sports Talk Radio Network there. Thank you for having us on board. And you can find the podcast there on their website. You can also listen to this podcast on any of the podcasting platforms if you cannot watch. Again, thank you all. I really appreciate it, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday on the show.